Honi Harawira.
Kia ora, Mr. Chair. Kia ora tātou katoa e te whare. I'll come back to Mr. Tauhenari and Mr. Simon Bridges a little bit later. Mr. Chair, I know some of this stuff's already been said before, but I want to reiterate it, I want to support it. 13 years ago, the purchase age for alcohol in this country was reduced from 20 to 18. Within a few years, it became obvious that although the new freedom was very popular amongst teenagers and the alcohol industry, the alcohol-related harm to teenagers had increased. In 2006, Matt Robson introduced a bill to put the purchase age back up to 20, but it was defeated following a last-minute announcement that the government would hold a review of the sale and supply of liquor to minors. That review was very low profile and achieved nothing. Since then, however, alcohol-related harm to teenagers has continued and become increasingly alarming to many people, particularly parents, doctors, nurses, police, hospital emergency department staff, the judiciary, and virtually all other health and social agency workers, along with the majority of the general public. In 2010, the Law Commission initially supported the split age proposal, so 18-year-olds could buy alcohol in pubs, but you had to be 20 to buy it from liquor stores and supermarkets. However, after a comprehensive review of all the evidence about harm to teenagers from alcohol, their final recommendation was to return the purchase age to 20 across the board. And why? Because that review showed that the consumption of alcohol by teenagers was a significant problem for the well-being of all New Zealand youth and a contributing factor in rates of educational problems, depression, self-harm, suicide, vehicle accidents, injuries, falls, drowning, fire, physical and sexual assaults, reckless and unwanted sexual behaviour, pregnancies and termination of pregnancies. On top of all that, there was also evidence that since the purchase age was lowered from 20 to 18, that there had been a greater level of binge drinking, not just by 18 to 20-year-olds, but also in younger age groups. A greater level of public disobedience associated with alcohol consumption amongst youth, and more young people killed and maimed on our roads is a direct result of alcohol abuse.
That's right.
Mr. Speaker, a few months ago I did a tour around my electorate in other parts of the country seeking Māori views on this issue. What I found was that amongst rangatahi Māori, only one 18-year-old thought it would be a good idea to raise the purchase age back up to 20. Mind you, when I asked a number of 16-year-olds whether the purchase age should be kept at 18 or lowered to 16, funnily enough, 80% of them thought it should be lowered to 16. But this decision is ours to make, Mr. Chairman, and our first priority should not be the profits of the booze barons generated from the expensive television ads developed and specifically targeted at the younger drinker, and the sale of alcopop, specifically brewed, packaged and marketed to teenagers, nor indeed should it be the votes of the 18 to 20-year-olds, but the health and well-being of our young people. Returning the minimum purchase age to 20 in both licensed and off-licensed premises is certainly not the answer to all of the alcohol problems that this country faces, but it is definitely part of the answer. And Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to go back to some work that the Honourable Tauhenari and the Honourable Simon Bridges and I were engaged in terms of the tobacco inquiry. That was about another issue, another product, but we were very concerned about the impact of tobacco on Māori and in particular on young Māori. And one of the things we went after was tobacco companies in terms of the packaging, in terms of the display, and the reason why was we wanted to try to reduce its impact on young people. Well, alcopop and the kind of advertising just is targeted totally at them. There's no moves being made against them until those things are done. We need to raise that age to a point where we know that less of our young people are going to be dying on the roads, dying from the damage done by alcohol abuse, and at some time in the future, once we've been old enough and mature enough to deal with all of the other issues in terms of access, price and availability, we can come back to age. Until then, kia kaha tātou te tautoko I te kaupapa. Kia ora tātou katoa.
I see everybody. Honourable Simon Bridge.